probably one of the, how do you say this, fan favorites already, and that's edge rusher Robert Beal Jr. He is fun out of Georgia, 4.4 speed, fast, fast, fast. He's just a fun guy. And so going back through and watching more of his film, it's interesting because the way they coach their D linemen in Georgia is 1000% different than Kosaric. Thousand, like he's not allowed to bend the edge. He's not allowed to at Georgia. They have to go through the offensive lineman. They have to. And you see it with all four of them. Doesn't matter who it is, they go through the offensive lineman. So it kind of sucked for Robert Beal, who's a speed edge guy, and Nolan Smith, if you want to stick with that, same thing. They have to go through and they rotate like crazy. So as I watched his tape and one of the like unintended consequences of his tape that just kept showing off to me, his handwork, holy freaking cow. I graded him very, very positive. Bose is the best in the NFL probably the last 20 years at just hand technique. But man, Robert Bill Jr., I was very pleasantly impressed. Here's a 30-second clip, real quick, of him just showing. And again, don't pay attention to so much of the speed or whatever in this clip. Just watch the hands. He uses them like crazy, and not only in the pass rushing sense, but in the run game as well. Here he is inside of the tight end. Yeah, you see the hands. You see the hands and just the violent, only 14 bench press reps, which is really, really low for an edge guy. Here he is on the other side. Again, hands. When his hands get engaged, you always see him grab and just stack and shed almost like a defensive tackle. Very forceful with his hands. I mean, he controls these dudes. It was just so consistent that, man, you watch the tape and you're just like, good gosh, like offensive linemen will not stick to this dude. He's just throwing them around. He's just throwing them around. Yeah, Big Papa says Kosaric sounded very excited about his conversation. His conversion is the thing I'm excited about. He says, JC, do you know how fast D Ford was? Yeah, I could tell you this in just a quick second. D Ford was fast, man. That dude was a burner. He did not run the 40 at the combine. He was injured. I'm not laughing that he was injured. That's not funny, but yeah, some players just kind of stick to what it is. He didn't run at the combine, but I'm seeing a 4.59 just on a Google whatever, 4.53 at the pro day. So yeah, this is somebody that has a faster 40-yard dash than D Ford. But what D Ford was great at that was different than Robert Beal, and again, this is something else that come off tape. Streamlined sprinter, first couple steps straight up the field. Robert Beal, he's not there yet. And if you want to go back and watch all these full breakdowns, they're over on Patreon. And again, this is, our bread and butter. We do these videos like crazy. We're putting out almost a video a day right now. And I'm going to keep doing that for a while. It's fun doing this full time. I'll say that. Not teaching and coaching during the same time. It's allowed me to put out a lot more content. And hopefully the Patreon members are enjoying that. But the thing I'll say is this. Robert Beal has to learn streamline straight ahead. His feet, as soon as he takes off, and I saw this almost every single play that he was trying to speed rush, his feet get out of his frame. And when one foot gets out of your frame, the next foot gets out of your frame. I coached track for 10 plus years, and you got to have everything going forward. He's not there yet. He's wound up. He's got the speed. You're a 4.4 guy, right? Right? Like I'm not trying to say like, I'm just saying he could be faster than he is, especially at getting off the ball. His feet, like again, you always hear the phrase like pin your ears back, right? The reason why they say that is everything is going this way. Nothing's going side to side. He's got a bad habit. And again, Kosaric is the dude that's going to coach this dude up and make him, what he could be. And what he could be, he could be a D4 type. He could be a D4 type. Now, I will say this. One of the things about Robert Beal is that dude's so good against the run. Both those clips I just showed you were run game clips, right? He doesn't have to be a pass only guy. That's going to be his role early. but he doesn't have to be that. That's not where it ends. This dude can be an every down defensive end, which is crazy at his size, but he can. I don't think they're going to ask him to do that. I don't think that's what's best for him, but the possibility is there. This is not just a one trick pony. And yeah, what was his GTFO? We don't know the numbers, but supposedly from Adam Peters' conversation and John Lynch's conversation with the media, it was top of the charts. Which again, look at just like his simple numbers, right? Like, I mean, he was top of the charts at almost everything. You look at his 40-yard dash, he ran a 4.48. That's 98th percentile of edge rushers. You look at his 10-yard split, not as high, 1.62. That's 70%. That's kind of that outside the feet, outside the frame thing. Like, it's almost like he's hopscotching back and forth. If he could streamline that, I think that's one of the things that you're going to have to work on, which I am pretty excited about. Like, this dude's got it. And again, with somebody that's this damn fast, his vertical is terrible. He had a 30-inch vertical. That's John Chapman worthy. Not really. I don't think I have a 30-inch vertical. Mine's probably way worse. But that's 16th percentile. His bench press reps, very, very low. Like, there's certain things, like, you look at him and you're just like, oh, this dude twitched up. But certain things kind of went against that. But speed. He's got that. And he plays with great leverage. Yeah, Seymour says D Ford started injured, ended injured. Had a good career. I don't look back on the D Ford time as a negative. We never got what it could have been, but we saw it was the right evaluation. When he was out there, this defense was different. The problem was he just couldn't stay out there. And on top of that, hell of a teammate. And on top of that, you don't get Trent Williams. Trent Williams is not on this team currently without D Ford redoing his deal to give us that extra room to sign him over the Chiefs. Like, and I get it, the jokes and all that stuff, and he's still on the salary cap. I totally understand that, and that's fair criticism, and they deserve that because of the injury history. But the football player, check. The character, check. Medical, yeah, that's not good. Right here, Ishmael, this was the hard thing to grade. He says, does Bill have any bend? The answer is yes. The problem is you don't see it in Georgia's tape because they don't want him to do that. Like, they want him to go through the linemen. There is no speed to bend. There's just not a lot of reps of that. And so, okay, let's put some numbers to this. Whenever I was deep diving, 13% of his snaps in 2022 were in coverage. They dropped him a lot. Now, if you look, he played 5 years at Georgia. Now, they rotate, which means, freshmen get snaps at Georgia because they don't want them transferring. They want to keep them there. In his 5 years, because of the COVID exemption, whatever, he played 5 full years there. He only had, in those 5 years, 524 pass rush snaps. Not a lot. A pretty damn small sample size. In 5 years of playing. Like, Georgia doesn't play a lot of guys. Like, if you look at the stats of Georgia's defensive players that aren't secondary players, it leaves a lot wanting because they just don't play a lot. To put this into perspective, so Robert Beal Jr., 5 years, 524 snaps. Okay, let's look at the guy we got last year, Drake Jackson. Drake Jackson played 3 years at USC. He's young, right? 3 years. He had 697 pass rush snaps in 3 years. Robert Beal, 524 in 5 years. And on top of that, USC spent 1 whole year of Drake Jackson playing off-ball linebacker. Robert Beal Jr. is raw. Played in the SEC against quality competition, NFL tackles, NFL scheme, whatever. Successful, but raw. Like, there's a reason why he was available in the 5th round. There's always a reason, right? Now, are the reasons worth it? Brock Purdy would say, nope, y'all got it wrong. Where's Robert Beal on that? Sky's the limit. I'm telling you, 3-down player is a possibility. The speed is a possibility, but we have not allowed him, and this is part of Georgia's scheme, to do what he does best, and that is speed to bend. So he does it. We just don't have film on it, Ishmael. And so, yeah, that's one of the things that I think is interesting for sure. I like that, though. I like that.
The 49ers Rush Podcast.